I am thankful for this place. It was here where I learned of amazing grace. This is where I hear the voice of God.
In the early years of the 20th century, as cities grew and became crowded, Presbyterians realized that camps with fresh air were ideal for nurturing a life of faith. So, in an effort to extend the church's Christian education program beyond the congregation, pastors and other church leaders began gathering young people for summer instruction far from city life.
He would go and get fish out of Higgins Lake. He wrote the Bible studies, preached the sermons. You can see pictures of Bob Fray's preaching and his wife playing the piano. It took them 2 days to get from Detroit up to Westminster.
During the 1950s and 60s, more camp and conference centers were built and others expanded to keep up with the widespread recognition that an experience away in a natural setting can play a pivotal role in the personal and spiritual development of young people.
It's a beautiful thing to watch young people come to grips with the faith that their parents espouse for them in their baptism and say, I believe for myself that that's true. And I'm going to live my life in a way that reflects Christ.
I would not be a pastor now if it were not for our camps. And it was a transformative experience for me. Perhaps the most important thing I've done throughout my life and throughout my ministry.
Morning Bible study kind of plays itself out the rest of the day, and there are conversations about it. You refer to it at the swimming pool and at arts and crafts and other places, and it gets wrapped up at the end of the day. So instead of a short sermon or a long worship service or a Sunday school class, it's this flavor of the day, and the energy keeps building.
Our time away as a church at camp was really important to me. Worshiping outside together was foundational to my faith.
Camps and conference centers have been partners with congregations and families in providing Christian education. Through the years, camp facilities have adapted, becoming more sophisticated to meet the demand for a wider range of services and activities for young people and adults, yet remaining true to their calling to be places set apart from our busy, wired lives to hear better the voice of God.
One of the things I like about camping is it has the ability to respond quickly to needs. After the Jonesboro school shooting in our presbytery, we were able to respond quickly and offer healing camps. And that one camp we did in 1998 after the school shooting became 8 camps over 5 years, and the kids from Columbine and Paducah and Bosnia and kids from New York City after 9/11 all came.
When you take away the distractions, you're not worried about some of the other stresses, that you can stop and walk a labyrinth and focus on God and put away the other things. And I think that the community that happens often in retreats, and certainly happens in camp, is a community that we don't experience in the day-to-day world.
Camp and conference centers have come a long way in their first 100 years as part of the Presbyterian Church. They remain vital today because they provide things found nowhere else in the life of a congregation.
I didn't have a Sunday school class that ever took me out and looked at how a mushroom popped freshly out of the earth and still had the leaves on top, and how it was just had that urgency to pop out, and how you can talk about that urgency of needing to share your faith with somebody.
In our camp and conference settings, people seem to encounter God in ways they do not in regular worship, in Sunday school, in youth group. For some reason, something is going on that is unique and extraordinary.
You kind of have permission around the campfire to sit and ponder deeper thoughts and share stories. And I think those stories remind us of what's really important. And sharing, the greatest story around that campfire is something people remember for a long time.
What's really happening is they're living their faith. They're not just learning about it, they're experiencing that faith lived out in that community.
The church can be proud of its role in the development of Christ-centered camps. For these are special communities, sacred places, places essential for our life of faith, where we're called by name to reflect God's grace.
I don't think there's many people that could deny the power of God and the presence of Jesus Christ, and in places that are just so incredibly beautiful, both inside and out, and in places that feel safe and where you feel connected and loved.
I am thankful for this place. It was here where I learned of amazing grace. This is where I hear the voice of God. And if ever there was holy ground, there isn't a more sacred space to be found. Well, I know God speaks in many ways, but it's here where I listen best. It's where I listen best. It's where I listen best. The people of God would remember whenever they came to a place where they recognized mercy and saving grace. And great were the shouts and praises out of every last chosen one. By the grace of God, they had overcome. By the grace of God, they had overcome. They had come a long way, and along the way they had struggled and wandered around. Yeah, yeah, they had wandered around. Now you and me, we have been there. We've struggled and wandered around. We have all had our shares of ups and downs. All of life is a journey, while to this earth we're bound. We will travel on the road between lost and found. We are travelers on the road between lost and found. Oh yeah, we need places to encounter God, to learn and remember, where we can make the faith our own, make it our own. That's why I'm thankful for this place. It was here where I learned about amazing grace. And if ever there was holy ground, there isn't a more sacred space to be found. Well, I know God speaks in many ways, and I know God moves in many places, but it's here in this place where I listen best. It's where I listen best. In this place, it's where I listen the best. This is where I hear the voice of God speak out loud. In this place, in this place, whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah, yeah. I can hear God speak in this place.